Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander. I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today I have my co-host, Kelly. Are you there, Kelly?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kelly.
And I have my co-host, Barbara. Hi. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Okay. Now,
hi, Barbara.
Hi.
So what we're doing today, this is what we're doing. I guess that, I have seen, I like to look for topics that mean a lot to my co-hosts. And animals have always been a passion of Kelly's. It's always been something that, she's always sort of has a drive with. This is supernatural and animals. They sort of, I've asked Kelly one time to list the things that are passionate to her, and she goes, animals and supernatural were the things that were listed. So I wanted to do something, and we had, I think it was Fee Silicki on. This is what the story behind it. And I realized that Fee Silicki and Kelly could probably offer a lot of information to one another because they both take care of animals, but they could never actually meet one another in a person because someone's going to have to transfer a whole lot of animals. So I decided to create a group called the League of 50, or we did to create the League of 50 because it can't really exist without the help of everybody else. And what I did was I think what we want to do is get 50 legitimate animal organizations from 50 states on a channel, video conferencing with one another and exchanging information with one another about various forms of animals. And basically what this this has to do with taking an intellectual approach to animals. A good example of taking an intellectual approach to animals, and maybe I can have Kelly come in on this. Recently, you had, why don't you tell us the story about Francis?
Okay. I had a bat in my house, and I wasn't sure exactly what I had because I was sick and laying on my couch, and I heard kind of a rustling noise, and I thought, oh, great, I have a mouse in my house. And, I was kind of a little bit delirious with the flu, and all of a sudden I have this rustling going past my ear, and I'm like, bleh. And, the reaction that people would have, it was something you're not expecting. And then, I was a little bit scared, and I look up, and I didn't have my glasses on because I was sleeping, and I see something flying, and I'm like, is that a big moth? What is that? And so I get my glasses on, I'm like, that's a bat. And, at first I want to pull the covers over my head, but then it's like, immediately I'm scared because when I was a baby, in my parents' old house, I have, a little bit of memories of when there was a bat in their house, and I just remember my mom screaming and yelling for my dad, and, oh, God, Bill, there's a bat in the house, and then, like, Kelly's upstairs, and then, he's, all of that, like, drama and scary stuff, and hearing this bat hitting the door down at the bottom of the stairs, and apparently I've been left upstairs. So my dad had to go up there and get me, and I don't remember any of that part except being downstairs after that and hearing the bat hit and then stuffing towels down at the bottom of the thing until light came out, outside, the sun came up, and my dad, after it quieted down, apparently went upstairs with like a fishing net and somehow got the bat in the fishing net and let it outside. And, meanwhile, my mom was completely terrified. My dad was scared, like anytime the bat moved. So, but he, got it outside, and of course, here's this bat trying to fly in broad daylight, and but there was a sense of, okay, we can go back to normalcy. The bat's out. So, I was, after I got through my initial fear, then, I'm like, okay, I hope it stays in the kitchen, because it felt like it kept trying to dive bomb me. And so, being that I had the flu, I wanted to make sure that this was really happening. So I videotaped it and watched it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is happening. And then I started researching about bats, rabies, what are the chances, what happens if I come into contact with this, what about myself, my safety, and my animals. And, then I started thinking about the League of 50, and what if we had other experts on there? What if we could communicate with each other? What would be the best way to, because I was looking on the internet and they're saying, well, capture it in a container and put a lid on it. Well, what if I can't get up to where it's at? Then they're saying, well, if you have a bat in your house, you probably have a colony in your house somewhere, like up in an attic. Then you should get a hold of these experts. Well, if you have a bat where you were sleeping, you might as well consider yourself having been scratched or bitten. You should go to get, checked out, see if you have a reason to get a rabies shot, trap the bat and, have it be tested for rabies. All of these scary things. And then they're like, well, if you don't think that you've been bitten or scratched, let it go outside. Some bat species are endangered. Then there's all this, confusing things on the internet. So I observed the bat, and I used the butterfly net when it landed, and it was perched on the chandelier. And it was just kind of gently playing with the net with its little toe, on its wing, and just kind of observing me quietly. And I figured, this isn't the behavior of a rabid animal. A rabid animal would be agitated and trying to attack me. And it's just kind of gently playing with me. So, it's obviously not rabid. And I got to kind of observe and get to know this animal, and I named it. And
what'd you name it?
I named it Francis, and I think it was seen as a nutshell. Well, thank you. So, I was kind of thinking, well, it doesn't really seem to want to go out, but I'll leave the doors open and kind of prod it if I can with this butterfly net. And the one time I did get it to fly, it went and flew further in my house onto a different light fixture and that was on. And I'm like, aren't you supposed to be wanting to fly out into the dark? So I'm like, So I turned off, most all the lights, and, thought that would help with the doors open at night, and it didn't. Francis was just sitting there watching me. So, then Francis started flying from one end of the house to the other, just, different times, just kind of exploring around. And I was just like, well, I don't want to let the bugs in. So I just kind of shut the doors. It was just kind of bizarre. And so Francis was there for like 2 nights. And the second night, I knew Francis needed to go because with all the research I did, I found out in the wintertime that, that we're at the time right now, at the beginning of September, where they would have raised the babies and they'd be looking for a place to nest for the fall. And they usually pick a slightly different location in the same area. So if they were in the attic before, they probably would be looking for a different place now. And my dad could have let the bat in, bringing groceries last Friday when he kind of held the door open during the, after dark time. So, I do live by myself, but I had the flu, so, there were groceries being brought in. So, I thought, well, in the winter time, they have to live somewhere like a hollow tree or somebody's attic because they have to be 35 to 40 degrees. And living in my living space would definitely not work because their metabolism has to slow down for them to be able to hibernate. And then I don't know if I'd be able to sustain this bat being able to eat bugs all winter long. And, the kind I'd be able to buy at a pet store might be too big. So, I'm sitting there thinking ahead, like, if this is going to be a free-flying animal in my house, I don't think this is going to work out very well. So I need to find a way for Francis to be able to live free out there and find a place. And if for some reason it does have a colony in my attic, then they have to already have a way to get in and out to go outside. So it would stand to reason that there would be a way for it to get back in the attic from the outside. So either way, Francis would need to go outside. So it was weird because I'm short, and I got on a step stool, and I got within 6 inches of being able to pet Francis on that light fixture, but I was too short to be able to get all the way up there, and it was probably just as well. I mean, they say you can catch them with, like, leather gloves, but I didn't have any readily available at the time. And so when Francis did start to fly around, I let the door be wide open, and Francis would fly right past it and just, fly, away, down the other side of the house inside. And then I would call Francis, and Francis would fly toward me and fly past the door again. So I'd wait, and then I would call, and then Francis would come again, which was really weird. So, like, the third or fourth time I called, and Francis flew over, I had the butterfly out, and I just kind of, like, raised it about 6 inches and caught Francis in it, and I felt really bad because it was like Francis was surprised. But then I brought the butterfly net out the door so that Francis could fly out of it. And I was afraid Francis was going to fly back into it. So I had to close the door, kind of quickly so that Francis didn't fly back in. But, it kind of broke my heart to do that because, that was the end of Francis being in my house. But it was also a beautiful thing because, they can become attached to people. And some people have fruit bats as pets. This was an insect-eating small brown bat. And but it was also a very beautiful thing because Francis helped me get over that fear that I had since I was a kid. And because I think I helped teach Francis that not all people are mean, and
well, okay, I didn't know if it was okay to say something yet.
Well, I think it was a very meaningful thing because it was beautiful to be able to return Francis back to the wild, where she really belongs. And, it was beneficial. Yeah, I think it was a girl from, judging by the underbelly area. But but yeah, it was just a very beautiful interaction, interspecies or interaction there, and to have everything return safely to normal. Well,
is it okay to say something now, or are you still telling the story?
Yeah. It seems like that would be made a lot easier if we have the League of 50, where we can ask each other questions on wild animals, exotics, and domestic animals.
Yeah, what I was going to say, I mean, most people, when I called, I think the other day, I was looking for a zoologist because I think a zoologist would be good to come on the show to talk about the League of 50, things about this. And, and I told her, I said, I was telling you the story about Francis to the best of my ability. I might have left some things out, but there's the approach of just kill it, like get a BB gun and kill the Francis. Not even naming it Francis, just shooting it. And then there is the approach of, like you did. I mean, you got to thinking, do I really need to, what kind of a bat is it? Is it really going to hurt me? Is it in, I know, like, for instance, we were talking about this earlier about, like, I think the reason why people have a knee-jerk reaction to snakes and spiders is because we don't know that there's no such thing as a poisonous dog or a poisonous cat, but there is such thing as poisonous spiders and poisonous snakes. So if you were to show them a picture of maize, say, which is your corn snake, and ask them what they would do if they saw that in their house, I think most people would think kill the snake. They just would think kill the snake. That would be their knee-jerk reaction. The same thing is true with your spiders. Same thing is true with your bearded dragons. I mean, I would probably think that bearded dragon, if I saw one, was gonna bite me, or that it was poisonous or something. I mean, there are people that might think that. That and it requires reading up and wanting to learn, which is what I think the League of 50 does. Because if say there's a lot of bearded dragons in one state, but not so much in another state, and then someone in one state gets a bearded dragon in their house, they may need someone to say to them, listen, you don't need to worry about it. Well, where did you see the bearded dragon? Oh, well, they're not going to do this, because of the environment and because of what. And I there's a lot of times like snakes, a lot of.
You know what? That's funny. I just want to say I hope a bearded dragon sneaks into my house someday. I'd be lucky. They look like they'd be really expensive. I mean, like, we have a new pet.
Oh, well, they'd have to be somebody's pet previously because they're normally from Australia.
That's true. I know. So we wouldn't really have bearded dragons just like moseying on in by accident. But that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't happen. So that would be my lucky day, if that did happen.
I'm also kind of curious to know how rare is it to actually see a poisonous snake sneak into your house? I mean, the only reason I say that is that I'll give you an example. Many years ago, there was, I don't know. I mean, like, where are the poisonous snakes? Because this is the thing I was thinking. If a snake eats like rats and stuff like that, it seems like they would hang out in your backyard. But I don't know why a poisonous snake would need to be in your backyard. I think it would probably need to be in some place where there wasn't a whole lot of people around, because I don't think snakes. But actually, another reason is that just because a snake bites you and it's poisonous doesn't necessarily mean that it's a poisonous bite. I learned this many years ago. Our neighbor had a cat, and the cat got bit by a snake. So what they did was they ran over the snake, and the snake was, gone. But we're sitting around here wondering, is this snake poisonous? Is this snake poisonous? And they said, no, you need to understand there's two aspects of it. Is the snake poisonous, and is it a poisonous bite? That doesn't mean to let out venom. I do wonder if, which raises the question of how dangerous. I mean, I think that we do this. Another example about snakes, and a lot of people don't know this. I remember reading about this in the books one time. There are these two kinds of snakes, okay, and maybe you've known about this. I don't know what they're called. What you do on the one that isn't poisonous, it has lines, but one color is missing or something, or it has one color or something. And then on the other kind of snake, it's like they're very, these two snakes are very much alike. One's venomous and one isn't. But and I think it's like bad luck for Jack or something. No black, good luck. I don't know how you're supposed to remember, but the whole thing is we don't think like that. I mean, we're not biologists. I don't, I mean, I see animal that's not supposed to be there, I kill it. I mean,
What?
And I went out.
Oh.
No, I'm saying that some people think like that.
Oh, yes, they do.
And it's a little scary. Like, I was out walking to get the mail the other day, and on the ground I saw a dragonfly. And I realized, okay, I want to make sure that thing doesn't get me. But I got to thinking, like what you did, you're saying, I mean, why would this dragonfly jump up at me? Why would it, I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I just think that the League of 50 is great for people who don't know what to do. Luckily for that bat, Kelly stayed calm and, just let it kind of run its course. And you heard the story, and that was really wonderful and a calm thing. But most people do what her mother did years ago and, like, kind of freaked out. So it would be great if everybody had somewhere to go, like the League of 50, which we're creating here, and raising awareness to, so we could put our stories on there. And then maybe some links to what to do if that happens, specifically about the bat. And I just looked that up when you were telling that whole fun story, Kelly. I looked up what to do, and you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You just have this natural ability just to know what to do and how to deal with animals, which is fantastic. But a lot of people don't. And then I was looking up, yes, and then I was looking up other things, and oh my gosh, I can hardly even look at some of the abuse that's going on with, you just go to the Humane Society, and they have YouTube videos up of how they raise chickens. They call them broiler chickens. And they grow up so fast, and they collapse from their own body weight, and they're just so abusive to these animals, and it's so heart-wrenching. So it would be great if we could get on the League of 50 some associations that we could really get close to that could help every type of thing, adoption, abuse of animals. They have this thing one day a week, every Monday, to not eat meat, how much that helps just like tone down, calm down, like all this meat making, and I was going to ask you, Kelly, are you a vegetarian?
I used to be, but then I became allergic to so many vegetables, it was ridiculous. So then I wasn't vegetarian anymore. So now I'm allergic to only like kiwis, like as a sensitivity, and then I'm allergic to shrimp and possibly like clams or oysters or something like that. Crabs. Yeah. So, but it's huge.
Oh, I was going to say we have a call.
Okay, cool. We could do like meatless Mondays. Are you vegetarian? Oh wait, no, you're not vegetarian. That's me grilling.
Okay.
Yeah,
We have
I'm
a
not,
caller
but
who has,
But we could do meatless Mondays.
I'd like to do. I'd like to only eat chicken that I know is farm raised, though. After what I just watched, and I would like to, make sure I do that from now on.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So is it okay if I put this caller on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this is Linda from Pennsylvania. She has been listening in on what we're saying, and I told her that if we didn't have an answer, that we were certainly going to try to find it. What is your this is Linda, this is my co-host Kelly, and this is my co-host Barbara.
Hi, Linda.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Linda.
Hello. Well, I'm a vegan, and I have 2 cats and 4 fish, and I'm just the fish are stuck in their tank. I'm just worried whether they'll get bored or whether their brains will melt from the boredom, and sometimes I worry about my cats, and whether they have anything to do. I don't know what to give them to do. They're just wandering around.
Do you think your pets are going to get bored? Because they do get bored. I was worried about that same thing. We just got birds, so I ran out and got another bird for our one only bird. I couldn't even handle watching it alone in the cage, bored for one day. The next day I had to go get another bird for it, and now I feel so much better. But I thought I was the only one who worried if my pets were bored.
I've heard mirrors help because the mirror.
Oh yeah, we put mirrors in there. Yeah, we did
if you
that.
put a mirror into the parakeet, that the mirror will start, because the fish will start to think, oh, there's another fish, So
right. So she has
that's
fish
what I would
that you
think.
think the fish are going to be bored? Linda?
What?
You have fish that you think that the fish are going to be bored?
Yeah.
Can you change up the way the tank is laid out so that they can have some things that are a little bit interactive, or you can kind of move things around a little bit, or change up the decorations a little bit? Just maybe have some things that that kind of move, or that they can kind of move around that won't hurt them.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah, because they like interactive things. Some fish will actually move things around to kind of redecorate themselves. What kind of fish do you have?
I think they're just plain goldfish, except one of them has a really giant stomach. I'm not sure what that is, but they actually live quite well together in the same tank.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I would get things that they can try to interact with, try to move around. Different colors, different textures, some things that might kind of spin, or things that kind of stack, but that they can move around but won't hurt if they fall. That they can, that won't have sharp edges or heavy, things that that won't hurt them if they're moved around. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I have cats.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think getting interactive things, do they watch TV at all, or listen to things?
I feel like they really like listening to things. I don't like giving them catnip, because the last time I gave them catnip for Christmas, their eyes got yellow. I'm like, why are your eyes yellow from the catnip?
Oh, that is weird. Do they like listening to the radio, or is there something like if you can put on different kinds of music, or I feel like if you can give them a variety of different programs, or just different things like if you can give them a variety of podcasts, or sometimes you can find like animal videos, things like that might entertain them and give them something to watch or something to listen to. That'll give them some kind of like interactive fun. That if you can give that, they really like time with you. I think a laser pointer is fun as long as it's kept away from their eyes. And do you ever have one of those little toys you remember the little fishing pole looking like toys that they have, like, kind of like string, and then they have the little toy on there with the little dangly things, and then you just kind of like flip it around and they catch it, and then they like stick their paw on it, and you kind of wiggle it around. A little toy on a stick with a little string.
Well, with the toy thing, like when they were younger, like I kept up the habit of giving them the toy and with a string and the stick, and they were pretty good with it, and did it habitually, and then like I didn't do it for a while. I forget why, maybe because like my parents thought like they get tired or something. I don't know, just like didn't do it for a while. Maybe I went away, but like I didn't do it for a while, and then I tried doing it again. They just not interested. They don't move for the toy anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, have you tried something like an ostrich? Not an ostrich. Peacock feather or something like that. Just kind of like touching with it and just kind of pretending like you didn't, and then just kind of touching them with it to see if they just kind of bat at it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, something like that where you just kind of like, like kind of lightly tap them and then pretend like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. And then just kind of like see if they kind of react after a minute, like, all right, I'm sick of this, whap, see if you can get them to react, to, antagonize them a little bit to play. I think they would. And I'm pretty sure that they remember you playing with the stick and the toy on the string. And I think, if you just, sometimes if you play with it like it, and I hate to, to bring this up in this way, but if you get their instinct going of like a helpless animal that is kind of doing the death flails, I know that sounds kind of graphic and gross, but that gets into their pouncing and attack instinct of hunting, that kind of entices them to want to go after it. Like if you just kind of like flick it for a second, just kind of let it sit, just kind of let it dance for a second, let it sit, then that catches their attention. Like, oh, look, it's in its death throw. Ooh, I might have to do something with that, So, because if you're doing like a lot of activity, then they're gonna be like, man, I don't want to mess with that. But if you're doing a little bit of wiggle and then you stop, a little bit of wiggle, stop, and then you leave it alone for a minute, and you let it wiggle, stop, then they're gonna be like, oh really? And then what happens? It's like, you got my attention now, lady. So,
yeah, you guys have given me a lot of ideas. Although like I just feel like I'm just like so ashamed of feeding my cats like meat, and the fish are eating meat. I feel horrible about it. I don't know what to do.
Well, I know because you're vegan, but their systems are made to do that, and I know that it's other animals that are laying down their life for it, but their digestive system is set up that way. So, it's that circle of life thing that we don't really like to be reminded that, that's happening, but that's that part of the circle.
Yeah, that's why I don't train my cats, because like I don't want to hold, meat cracker, whatever, in my hand anymore. When my mom noticed, you're holding meat, I was like, wow, I'm holding meat in my hands. Yeah.
So what do you feed them?
What?
Well, you are feeding. You're still feeding them meat, though, right? It's just feeling weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I know they need the vitamin A.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want
I try
to
to
join our
feed
League
them very little.
Yeah. Do you want to join our League of 50?
How do I join?
Cool. Are you on Facebook?
It's a Facebook group.
Oh, okay.
Are you on Facebook?
I have an account. I'm not that active, but I will join. Yeah, I'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We're trying
We
to.
also-
I'm curious. Sorry, go on, Kelly.
Sorry. We also have our website, which is lifelaughterhappiness.com, and the League of 50 is mentioned on there. And we have our YouTube channel, which has all of our shows. Did you find us on?
I think that I was going to say something. I was screening the calls. When I was screening the calls, she said that she got an email that there was a show on, which means she probably follows our show on Blog Talk. So,
I was wondering, did you find us there?
I was just like following different like people on Blog Talk, and maybe some people I haven't even like know them, but like I just wanted to keep updated about live shows.
Oh,
well,
cool.
we're glad that you followed us. I think that you would love. I think what you should do is honestly check in on our shows daily, because we have a lot of stuff that I think you would like. Don't you think so, Kelly and Barbara?
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd love to have you. We're trying. I guess my question I had for you, I was just trying to ask this question. See, the League of 50 has to do with, for example, you live in Pennsylvania, okay? I live in Georgia. Kelly lives in Michigan, and Barbara lives in California. So there may be animals that are in one of our states that may not be as popular in other states. What sort of animals are in Pennsylvania that you would not, if you're able to answer this, then I'd like to hear your opinion, that you would not see in another state?
I see like really weird, interesting, like at least 3 unique varieties of bugs that I've never seen anywhere else. I mean, of course, there's the squirrels and the little rats or whatever.
Okay, so there
Yours?
may
I
be
don't know.
more squirrels where you're at than I mean, we don't know, but based on what you're telling me, on your experience. Okay. All right.
Yeah, squirrels and deers are everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's deer.
That's cool.
Deer. Okay, that's good. See, that's what we're looking for. See, I mean, if there's more deers, say, like where you're at, see, let's assume there is, then say somebody in Michigan or Georgia or California, where Barbara's at, may not know how to deal with the deer. So what we do is we would go to someone in Pennsylvania who has seen a lot of deers and may have give some advice on how to handle the deer. Does that make sense, Linda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot. That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for calling. You're welcome to hang on and listen for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I would love to.
You can certainly use your contributions to the discussion if you want to stay on. Would you like that, Linda?
Well, I think I'll just listen in, thanks.
Okay, that's fine.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, right. But well, thank you, Linda, for calling in.
Thank you guys so much. This is very cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm on
Thanks for
our
calling in,
page
Linda.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm on our group page right now. The exact name is League of 50 Animal Groups. That is what people need to look for. And thank you
Okay.
so much,
All right.
Johnny, for making this group. And we have a lot of nice members so far. And I think we have one more right now, which is Linda.
Very
we
cool.
should- I
Yeah.
do agree that like what I just said to that caller, I think just Linda sort of personifies what we're looking for, because like Michigan may have an animal that may not be as common in California or something. I was talking to Audra Lynn about it, and she was like, yeah, I mean, like they're very, not just animals but dogs. I mean, we don't just think of the fact that there's various kinds of dogs, and there's things that are very different about the different breeds. I'll give you an example. Like, okay, let's say that you have two people, okay, and one has the Mastiff and one has the Chihuahua. Do you know what's different about those two animals other than size? One is probably going to live. What?
More popular in Beverly Hills. That's what you always say, that you would expect to
well,
see the little Chihuahua in Beverly Hills in somebody's purse.
Yeah, but let me tell you something else. This is something that my sister. This is something that my sister taught me about Chihuahuas and about dogs, that a lot of people don't know. One is, okay, let's say that you see a dog that is barking. Okay, what's the proper response to do with a dog that is barking?
I don't know.
Okay, this
Bark
is what
back.
most people would do. Yeah, this is what most people would do. These people would be like, stop it, stop barking, stop. Okay, but they say the reason you're not supposed to do that is the animal sees that and it thinks that you're trying to just join in.
Oh,
So it says,
I'm really going
I'm
to join
barking
in.
too.
I like to bark
Okay.
with them.
Yeah, so the dog doesn't want to. So if you want the dog to bark, I think what she said to do is to squirt them in the face with a water pistol, and that usually stops them because it doesn't hurt them anything, but it stops them.
That's so mean.
Well, I don't think it's. I mean, I don't know, or I think it's something like what she does. My sister does. There's something like when you can do also. You can do a can. You know, you can do a can is what you can do, but these things aren't really hurtful. But what I'm trying to say is that, and another thing about like Chihuahuas that a lot of people forget is, okay, you have this big black Labrador Retriever, right? So the Labrador Retriever runs up to you and he goes, take me for a walk. Okay, the Chihuahua's not going to do that because remember, if you're going up a hill, the Chihuahua is going to see that as you going up a mountain. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, right. Whereas the big black dog is going to see it as just a hill. So Chihuahuas don't like going for walks. That's interesting. A lot of people don't think about these things, and so, I mean, do you, now that you have, for example, two birds, Barbara, are there things that you learned about birds that you didn't know before?
Yes.
What did you learn?
Oh, yes, I have to read about the birds to know. Oh, I had no idea that the birds need 12 to 14 hours of sleep every night. Otherwise, they get cranky. They don't feel good. Yes. And, oh, my goodness. And so I cover them up at night, and they don't like to be disturbed. The best way is to cover them with I don't like to put a heavy blanket on there. I don't want them to get too hot. I get worried. So I ask them at the pet store, so if we're hot, are they hot? Yes. So if I'm hot, would I want to be in a cage with a big blanket on top of the cage so I can't breathe? No. So I do a little light sheet over it just so they can get some darkness and have a breeze underneath, a light breeze, and then make sure they're getting 12 to 14 hours of sleep every day. Otherwise, they can die. I mean, they're sensitive. And also, they need to eat their kind of fruits and vegetables, not just your kinds with, like, maybe some people sauce on it or anything very bad for them. So we went out and got that. They have to have greens. They have to have their cage cleaned twice a day because it can contaminate their seeds, and they go down and get all contaminated. And sometimes they'll cut their nose, the top part of their nose, on the thing that they sharpen their beak with. I mean, they're very sensitive. But, you know, all of these things I don't mind doing, because the first day I brought Boba home, the white one, I fell in love. And then now that we have Mango, yes, the green one, oh my goodness. Part of my morning, I take Priscilla to school, I come back, I let them sleep a little longer, and then I love my hour of taking care of them. And, you know, I chop up, you can do your people food, but if it's just raw, clean carrots, I chop some of those up, get an orange slice in there, clean their cage. Priscilla does it in the afternoon. And then I talk to them, and I whistle with them and chirp with them and tell them they're pretty. I mean, I just love them so much. I never thought I had that in me to love a bird like this. And yes, I love them so much.
You know their gender yet?
I didn't hear you. What was that?
Do you know their gender yet?
Oh, how you tell is they start to get like a blue color on their beaks, and we haven't really seen any of those lines come through yet. They're very young, so we don't know. So we're just kind of choosing it. We just are calling them girls right now. We don't know.
Okay.
Oh. So you can have little baby ones?
I don't know. I'm asking the pet store people that, and they got distracted. I never really got the answer. So next time I go get some more bird seed, I'm going to ask them about that. But they didn't seem too concerned. The paper that I read didn't have anything like that in it. And then we got home and we're like, oh my goodness, we're bringing another bird in. What if it's a male and one's a female? And Priscilla and I are looking at each other, and then I started getting kind of excited. Wouldn't that be so sweet to have these little like birdies, baby birdies? But I don't know. Next time I go, I'll ask. But they didn't specify. They didn't act like that was anything. Don't you think they would have told me about that? You know?
The only thing I'm wondering about,
Yeah.
this is the only thing I'm really wondering about is, you know, we don't really. I've never heard this sort of thing discussed with birds, but I think it's something that needs to be brought up. You know, you usually, when you bring a dog or home or a cat home, and you want to make sure that it doesn't go having sex with the other dog or the cat, you get it spaded or neutered. I've never heard of like spiders getting spaded or spiders getting neutered or a snake getting spaded or a snake getting neutered, or what they do with birds getting spaded or neutered. I may be wrong, you know, but and I may be wrong. I mean, I'm not saying I'm open to be wrong on this, but I've never heard of this happening. And what I was going to say is if they start to have children, then and you don't get them fixed. Well, I don't even know if you could. You might start to have a lot of inbreeding going on, sort of like Kelly, with her lizards. I mean, she's not going to go take a bearded lizard to get spaded or neutered. She just sort of says,
you can't do that. But yeah, you can't. They're too small. But like a sugar glider, you can, only the males, because their things are external. You can, but like a bird, I don't think you can, because I think it's all internal. Like a snake is all internal.
I'm open to being wrong, but if one of the callers or people who are listening in have the answer to that question, I'd like to know the answer to that. I think
I don't know if you need to incubate the eggs. If you need to incubate them, then there's your answer, that they wouldn't survive. If you have to incubate them, they wouldn't survive if they laid them anyway. But if they don't have to incubate because they're okay with sitting on the nest, then they would survive. Then they'd have to be able to build a nest.
I know. I'm looking it up on Google right now, and then somebody said, my parakeet laid an egg. I found it on the cage floor. So I'm sure I'm going to get some answers when I start to research this. But it would be nice to be able to share our stories on there. Like all of these stories that we're talking about right now, we should always, I did share my new birdies on the League of 50 group page. And I think that every story we have regarding an animal, we should just start sharing and create discussions. And then that creates more people to come along and share theirs too.
What I think we should do is do more League of Animal.
We need to have a veterinarian on there.
Right. Yeah. A League of 50 animal group shows. And then what we do is we ask you questions that we obviously know we don't know the answer to, like what I was just saying about the birds. What do you do about getting them fixed? Is it possible to get a bird fixed? Then you know, we posted on the League of 50. We say, listen, we have some questions. We'd like some answers. And then, you know, and then that way it would become, I think we should do more shows, like not maybe a regular League of 50 show, but maybe one where we do it enough to where the most recent one that we did, we had some questions. One was, you know, and it's okay to be admittedly that you don't know something, but like the birds, what do you do about, you know, what do you do? How can you tell if I was on the phone with a zoologist, and she told me that some birds are pollinization animals. But she actually loved the idea that you took the intellectual approach and you let it out, rather than, you know, just get the BB gun. So I like the fact that, you know, she was really happy with that, and I told her, I said, you know, I would like to get a zoologist, and she's going to try to send someone to contact me.
Nice.
Oh, good. Okay. And also, I just did a post on the League of 50 Animal Groups page about Audra Lynn, who we're having on Monday on the show. She created this company that she says, oh my gosh, the shampoo products are flying off the shelves. She's sold millions of products since she laid down one night and kind of in her sleep, she came up with this idea about this sensitive dog shampoo for dogs with sensitive skin. And I've known dogs like that, and they're very irritated and they're miserable. And so she created this, and she's quite successful. So I just posted her company. I saw that you did before, Johnny, on the group page, but I just reposted it again and talked about her product. So that is totally cool. So we've got another animal lover. We'll get her to join the group, and that's helpful for anybody who has dogs with irritated skin. Then you have your connection right there. Audra Lynn.
Does she do any work with cats?
It doesn't say that on her product. It's strictly, from what I've seen, it's dogs. But I know that she shows dogs, so she knows a lot about dogs, and also she used to show horses, so she's an animal person definitely. But about cats, not so sure. I am definitely a cat person, and I'm becoming a bird person, and we've got Kelly, the exotic animal person, and all-around pet person. So just with us, and if they ask something on our group page, we should monitor it daily and then find the answer for them. So still, ask away, people. Come on our group page, ask away. Plus, what we're going to do is find the top 5, 10 animal foundation in your state for you to get a hold of for any reason, like adoption, if you want to adopt an animal, or how to take care, or, we should even look for the top veterinarians. I need to find an avian vet for the birds.
Oh, yeah.
They're called avian. That's what they're called. So, yeah, I've got to find that because I want one that comes to my house. Actually, because trying to get these birds to the vet. Oh my gosh! You know how it is, Kelly, trying to catch a bird. A bat's like a bird, so it's not easy.
Oh,
and yeah, they flap all around. I'd like to find like somebody to do house calls for the birds.
Let's see. I think they're called aviary.
What was that, Kelly?
I'm starting a new group for League of 50, as far as like a Facebook, like a group that is a chat group, a League of 50 chat group.
Oh, good. That'll be good.
Okay.
It's fun. I
Where's
love animals
the-
so much. I'd have a lot more animals if I could. I'd like to even have a horse. I used to ride horses all the time. You know, when I retire, that is kind of what I envision in my life for retirement, is to live on a ranch with a horse and have that to take care of. I like that kind of lifestyle.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Mhm. And have
Where's
a boat
the? I'm trying to find the link for
right
your
by the
group.
house.
Where's the group?
I'm still naming it.
Okay.
I'm finishing it because.
Hey, Johnny.
Yep.
What animal is your favorite animal?
Actually, I can't. I don't trust myself to take care of them, but I like birds because birds.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's interesting is that they live as long as people do. And there was the one time I might have said this story on the air. I'm not sure, but there was they found the they found this parrot, and it belonged to Winston Churchill. And what happened was that the bird was still quoting Winston Churchill's obscenities about Hitler. And even all those years later, and one time I asked my brother-in-law, I said, what would happen if they found out that Deep Throat was actually a parrot?
Oh.
And and then have the parrot say, "Jack the Plumber, dog." It's just amazing the way that they repeat things,
I know. I was reading that some lady rescued one or adopted one and it started swearing at her. So whoever had the parrot before her was teaching it some really bad names. Some swear words.
Or letting it watch The Exorcist over and over again.
Oh my gosh. Uh-huh.
Maybe it was letting it watch The Exorcist over and over again. I do think we should probably do more League of 50 animal group shows. Only the reason I say that is that because we need to have shows where we say, okay, well, we don't know the answer, but we're going to find out. So a place where people can, because then they're going to see us as a research place where we're going to say so many people are going to, because it's actually there's two things that are good when you come on a show like this and you ask a question. It answers the question for you, but it also answers the question for somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Because,
and let's try to find a guest. Maybe a guest that specializes in something could come on the next one.
The League of 50 show. But for example, the thing about the birds, I've never really thought about that question before, but I mean, because obviously you don't want inbreeding. The whole point of getting it spayed and neutered is to avoid inbreeding. And, but I think
I know.
that
we do need to have a specialist on here if, sometimes we could have a specialist of something on just to make it interesting. I mean, I know we're interesting, but it would make it more interesting. And in between our shows, we could look at everybody's question, and then if we don't have the answer, we can try to find a specialist and come back with the answer like you were saying, or have that person on as a guest would be fun. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I want this group to be, not the group, but well, first of all, the League of 50, I think that Kelly should be, even though I created it, I'm going to say I don't know as much about animals as anybody here. But I'm open to learning more, and I think that's the League of 50 is good. I think that Kelly is very good. Kelly and Barbie are both very good at determining the direction of the League of 50, of its growth, because like. I was talking. Kelly says, well, "I'm not an expert." I know you're not an expert, but the fact that you are, at least the fact that I think a lot of people would really appreciate the fact that you looked at a bat, you let it out, you didn't kill it, you didn't, and it's sort of funny. We were talking about this. I think the other day you said, well, Johnny, I mean, you can't exactly kill a bat because bats are protected. And I'm like, so people are going to go into all the homes and just see that if there's a dead bat. If you kill that bat, you could have gotten away with it. I mean, nobody's going to go in your home and see if there's a dead bat. I mean, I think that, and I do wonder, like, there probably aren't a lot of laws. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, one time there was a beehive that got loose in my house. Well, you don't want to just kill a bunch of bees for the sake of the environment. But you can't have them in your home, so we killed all the bees. I slept through all this. But the thing is that, when all this happened, but I guess the point I'm trying to get at here is there's an intellectual approach, and that's what Kelly did. It sort of fell in line with the concept of League 50. She said, okay, well, wait a minute. Instead of she's like, well, wait a minute. I got this bat. Okay. Now I'm thinking, okay, I got lots of animals here, which, by the way, not a lot of people are going to have in their house. Not a lot of people are going to have corn snakes. Not a lot of people are going to have spiders. Not a lot of people are going to have sugar gliders. So what she does is she said, okay, how would it affect this animal? How do I get the bat out? Instead of just killing the animal, which really doesn't require learning a whole lot,
Yes,
I
know. I love that. I always stay very calm with things like that too. People are like, "Wow, you stayed calm." I have that in me to do that too. But I know people freak out with this stuff. So if they could lean on us for this, that would be really great. So all we have to do is keep getting the word out more often, because we haven't had one of these League of 50 shows for a while, since we had maybe one since Fee, remember. And Fee has connected an organization to our group. So we have one organization so far.
And I think that now that we have the possibility of League of 50 shows, we now have a way of filling content. So, like, if there's ever a gap, say, let's say that Kelly is, I hope she doesn't get sick, but let's say if she does get sick, instead of doing guided meditation, we would do a League of 50. We would do a League of 50 group, or a guided, or a chakra day, or something like that. So we have a card that we can play, so to speak.
And we have a willing participant that's a veterinarian in our group right now.
Oh.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, Letitia. Yeah, Letitia is an actual veterinarian, and she is in our group, and she's happy to be there.
Great.
Well, can she call in right now? Can she call in right now?
I can see.
I'd like to talk to Letitia.
Me too. While she's getting Letitia, I wanted to talk about the Chorus Animal Relief, spelled KORRAS, Animal Relief Effort, and they are connected to our League of 50 group, and it is bringing relief to animals and the people providing care for them. So I believe that Fee started this one as well. I remember her talking about it. So it's really nice. She has a website, a special website for this, and come over to our group page, the League of 50 Animal. Okay, it's kind of a long name that we have for our group, isn't it? It's called Johnny, what's the name of the group exactly? I want to see if you know it. It's not called it starts with League of 50 animal groups. So that's
League
what the
of
name
50,
of it is.
Yeah,
You named it, League
that's
of 50 Animal Groups. That's what it's called. So
that's what it's called, yeah.
then people can look that up and find Chorus on there. And then Kelly is looking for our veterinarian, Letitia, so we can connect with her too.
Okay. And I think Linda Wu
she's on the mend right now.
has just asked to join. Linda Wu has just asked to join. Let me see here. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
So which means that it's okay. Good. Okay. Approved.
Oh, I see my cousin is on our group. My cousin, Sandy
really?
Moe. Yeah, that's
Good.
cool. We have Christine Richter, Susie, Athena Sinkston, my playmate friend Susie. We talked about her today. Hopefully
I'd like
she'll come
to
on
hear
the show
Susie's
soon.
opinion on I really would like to hear Susie's opinion on this. I know she is hugely into animals. Susie is
Oh,
huge into
yeah.
animals. I mean, so
Okay,
it's
great.
Oh,
Okay, and
she's overcoming. She's getting on the mend, so she won't be joining us tonight. But yeah, she's participating in the group, so that's good.
Letitia, I'm looking her up in the group. I don't see it. Am I spelling it wrong? Latesha for our members.
Oh no, Ellie. She's at the very
Ellie.
Letia. She's in the chat group.
Oh, how do I find this, Kelly? Now you can tell me and the listeners at the same time.
Oh, it is. Let me get back. It's League of 50 Animal Chat Group, and then it's -- Life, Laughter, Happiness.
Okay. Do you hear me typing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah. I'll put like a picture for it, but yeah, because right now it's just little chat circles of the people. I'll have to put in an actual picture so it stands out.
Okay. I think it's fun. And I probably am becoming more of an animal person because of you.
Oh,
well,
thank you.
And also,
well, Kelly,
I
a
mean,
lot
Priscilla,
of
too.
it is, I think.
Well, yeah.
I think a lot of it is learning. Knowledge is power, because it's so funny. I mean, we see. I remember when I was reading a magazine one time, and they talked about what makes animals cute. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because if an animal is cute, people aren't as likely to just kill it. They're more likely to go, "Oh, you're adorable," and whereas there's more to it than just I mean, in the animals that are cute, kind of. I've also heard some people say that they complain about the animal rights groups because they tend to only do things that help two kinds of animals: the ones that are cute and the ones that are most like us. Now, what do you think of that, Kelly?
I think it's true.
That the animal groups only seem to do things that are cute for the animals that are cute, but not the ones that are like us.
Well, I think they do things for the ones that are cute and the ones that are like us, like the ones that are
right, but not the other ones.
Yeah, I think the animals that people that have to really stretch to identify with, I think those are the ones that get left out unless somebody can somehow find a way to bridge that distance to where people can relate to that animal somehow. And I try to bridge that distance when I teach people about the animals, and I bring them along to places and, do my outreach. But there aren't that many people like me.
I was like walking, because I was walking to I was walking out one time. I didn't do anything to it, but I saw this caterpillar on the ground, and it looked hideous. It was like, it literally looked like it was, it looked like a thing of feces that was scrolling around on the ground. And I got to thinking, but what a lot of people think, their natural instinct is to just go, you understand? It's like, but then we don't think. Well, I think the reason I think that there's so much fear is, one, is that we think that the animal is going to bite us, or the animal is going to give us rabies or some disease. We think that the animal is going to. That's probably what we think. We think that. My fear, for instance, the old Francis thing would be rabies. That would be my fear. If I were to run into Francis, I would, or I probably would just. Also another thing is that you're actually going to wind up saving people money, because, most people's natural reaction would be to call the exterminator, which the exterminator may not actually kill the animal. Well, even if the exterminator doesn't kill the animal, you got to pay for the exterminator. Whereas what you're doing is just telling people how to kill the animal.
Yeah.
You might want to save them like $100 or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I was like trying to think, okay, what is the least traumatic way that I can do this? For least traumatic for the animal, because there's no reason to traumatize it. What would be the good in that?
Mhm.
What would be the good in traumatizing the animal? What would be the good in traumatizing myself? What would be, because we don't want to traumatize it so that the animal is, afraid of humans or, whatever. We don't want to traumatize ourselves. So, and this way it was kind of like a healing thing,
It's funny because, like you were, there's not a lot of people that could take pictures of themselves with 8 or 9 dragons on them, They're thinking, what is she doing, You understand?
Well, yeah, it's also one of those things where, I guess becoming an animal communicator, it's just kind of, when I was doing that with Francis, it was just kind of like, especially when I was on the step stool with my finger out to Francis, it was almost like that took me back to when I was like 6 years old, doing that with a bird that was on a branch, just out of my reach. It was just sitting there, like about to go on my finger. And I was like, Wow, okay, I've been in this situation before. And I'm like, wow, okay. So,
yeah. I remember that story. Yeah, so you used what you had once used before. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like
I'm like,
that.
well, I guess, thank you. I'm like, I guess it works with different animals.
Mhm. And they can feel that energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're smart. Bats are smart.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
You know, people are afraid, like Johnny is saying, they are afraid of exotic animals and snakes and spiders and things like that. But some people aren't. And I remember I was on this Playboy shoot in the Bahamas, and they wanted two girls to walk along the iguanas. So there was a bunch of them scurrying all around the sand, and feed them grapes. And they said, don't get your fingers too close because they don't know the difference between the finger and the grape, you know. So you kind of just toss it gently up in the air, and they scurry all around to get the really good photograph. And I did it. Nobody could believe that I was doing it. And I thought it was fun. I am not afraid of them. They were all around me. And that's one of the coolest pictures I have. And then another time I was at my mom's lake home, and I put bread in between all of my 10 toes. And then I walked down to the lake, and Priscilla was laughing so hard. She couldn't believe I did this, and all of the ducks came, and they were nibbling around my toes, scurrying so fast. They wanted that bread, and they were tickling my toes, and it was so funny. And they couldn't believe that I did that either. I guess I'm just not afraid. I am not afraid of. That was funny. I got that one on video. I gotta dig that one up.
They didn't nip your toes or the in between or anything. Oh my
they
God!
were very gentle. They were gentle.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that is so cool! Wow.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of anybody doing that?
No.
I'm kind of weird. Yeah.
But that's a good kind of weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so
funny.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, I love hearing your stories. You do some of the coolest stuff.
Thank you. That's why
You're welcome.
I belong in a ranch, don't I? With animals.
Yeah,
I am an animal person.
do.
I've just always been like a city person in apartments and places like that, so I can't have too many, but I need them. I love them so much. I forgot how much I fall in love with animals when I get them as pets. These birds just brought me back to that.
Oh, that is so cool. That's where your second house is going to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you just figured that out. You see it. I got chills all over, Kelly.
Oh, yeah. We know we're going to be visiting you there.
Awesome. I'm going to have a horse for you guys to ride. And I feel like, you know, I have been envisioning this for a long time. This is a manifestation that I didn't even know I was manifesting, really.
Oh, and we know that it's going to happen because what you manifest happens.
Yes,
it
does.
We know it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my
cool.
gosh. Something to look
This
forward to, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It really is. Mhm.
This is exciting. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This
Thank
cat
you.
group can get huge. I know a lot of animal people. That's like one of my first go-to things on here were animal people. So I'm like going, oh my gosh, that's an animal person. Ooh, that's an animal person. Ooh, that's an animal person.
Cool.
So, yeah, this is going to be like huge.
And it cheers you up. You know, animals cheer people up. It's just a proven thing. That's why when people get older and they're so down, they lose their partner in life and they're elderly people. You just bring them a puppy or a kitty and they are fine for the rest of their life. They're really fine.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Or anything, an exotic animal. I mean, the birds, they cheer me up just looking at them. I don't have to stick my finger in there and mess with them. I just look at them, and they're so pretty. I was wondering, I asked the pet store when I went and bought some more bird food, do they breed them to make them so beautiful? I got this green one named Mango. It is so green. It's like neon green. And I'm thinking, God made the most beautiful creatures out there. Let's just enjoy them. And they're like, nope, they come out that way, all different colors. I couldn't even believe it. I thought they were like, they must be man-made. But no, who could make something better than man? Obviously God. So
yeah. Wow.
So cool to look at them, just like looking at all their feathers and the beauty of them. And now I'm so into the bearded dragons because of you. I look at all your photographs and I'm looking at all their little toes and their scales and their eyes. And you can look into their souls.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
And you have other
really
friends that have them. That's cool. That you have other friends that have them too. It's kind of like a group that you have of the bearded dragon friends.
Yeah. It's really, it's like, it's exciting. It really is. It's like, there are so many people that love animals. This is going to be like a huge group, and then it's like they're going to be like excited about the show because now we have like animal things in common.
Mhm. They're going to be so excited, and then they're going to know somebody who maybe knows somebody else who has an organization that's great.
We have a veterinarian.
Yeah.
We're having people who really know what they're doing, not just. In other words, I'm not saying that you don't, Kelly. I'm just, you understand what I'm saying. It's like
because then they can be like really, 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 yeah. I mean, they'll know about medicine.
Yeah, it's like don't do something.
They do surgery.
To an
I don't do
animal
surgery.
Don't do something to an animal that you don't know about. Don't mess with an animal that you don't know.
I'm not going to perform surgery. I'm not been, trained, but yeah. That'd be like, Jeffro on, Jeffro Clement, do I want to be a brain surgeon or a fry cook? I'm not going to be going in and doing brain surgery.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, no, Jeffro.
But if you want to put the bread in between your toes and let the ducks eat, I mean, I don't really want to say don't try this at home. I thought it was fun. Try it. You might like it.
Don't knock it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Barbara said so.
It's so funny.
Foot massage.
If you want a good laugh, if you haven't laughed that day, try it. It's good for a laugh.
Just don't step on any duck do. Yeah. That's funny.
And we got to get a bird, or we've got to get some kind of animal for Johnny in his room. He shouldn't say that he doesn't trust himself to take care of it. You would be able to take care of it just fine, Johnny.
Yeah. What about like one of those Japanese fighting fish? Don't give it a companion. They live alone.
Yeah,
actually, we had a fish many years ago. We had a fish, and the name of the fish we named it was James Bond, because what would happen is, this is what would happen. You know how when you watch a James Bond film, he's always trying to be attacked by 10 people, and then he survives without having anything bad happen to him, Well, this is what happens. We would put this fish in with about 3 or 4 other fish, and then James Bond would kill all the other fish. We put it in with 8 fish. It would kill all the other fish. And we realized that, this fish is going to, devour anything that we put in there, and it's going to survive, so we just decided to name it James Bond. Well, one day, we decided to get it to try and buy in another fish, and then we named the fish Octopussy, because it was based on after that movie that came out. We put it with Octopussy, and apparently James Bond finally met its match, and they went at it, and they wound up both dying. I mean, it was,
Did you research your fish?
Well, that's just it. You see, that's just it. That goes back to what we're saying right now. This is back when we were kids. Okay? We were probably kids. The point I'm trying to get at is, obviously, knowledge would have helped then. You see what I'm saying? Same thing if you're having a pet gerbil. Same thing if you're having a pet snake. Same thing if you're having the sugar glider or a corn snake or or any of the kind of animals that you take care of. Because if you see like a snake, your initial reaction is to kill the snake. There's no way that maize could survive on the street, unfortunately, due to the fact that there's poisonous snakes. I mean, there's no way that I don't know what the names of their spiders are, but I mean, because of the fact, what?
Miss Heidi,
what?
Geraldine. No, I name all my minions.
Cute.
Thank you.
Well, the point of trying to
Fun
get
to name
at
them.
here.
Yeah.
The point of trying to get at here is that most people don't know what to do when they see a spider or a snake because they're poisonous snakes and they're poisonous spiders. And if the snake isn't poisonous, you don't have time to check. So,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I do like snakes a lot, and I've held a very big boa constrictor. Somebody had it at their house, and you know what? I was so surprised. You really feel calm when they wrap themselves around you and they kind of like squeeze and let go, like it's a breathing kind of a rhythm. You just feel like laying down with it and sleeping. I actually did lay down with it, and thank goodness I have a picture of that. That was a really cool moment, holding that big snake like that. I loved that. And then I understood. Don't knock it till you try it, people, because then I understood why people have snakes as pets. You can totally fall in love with them, too, in a second.
Yeah.
It's amazing but it's amazing how the opposite is true as well. I mean, there's some people, like, when they see snake, oh, God, a snake, their immediate reaction, I'm wondering if the fear is because of the fact that there's poisonous ones. I'm curious if there was no such thing. Let me ask you this. This is the question for the both of you. If there was no such thing as a poisonous snake, do you think that people will be afraid of snakes? Or do you think people are afraid of them for other reasons? What do you both think?
I think they're afraid of them for other reasons because they just don't understand them.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
Me too. They're just not educated, basically, and they don't know what they're coming up against. But if they knew, that snake is not poisonous and it's fine, they might be more willing to hold it or get near it.
Yeah, a lot of people are afraid of things they don't understand, and some people don't care about understanding it. They don't want to understand about it, and that's fine. That's their right not to, but there are people that once they get to know something and understand it, then they might change their mind, but they have that initial fear of being afraid of something they don't understand.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like that on some things, like the bat.
Mhm.
It did cross my mind that you might keep that bat.
That I was?
That you might have kept that bat.
That
But they're so wild. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what they need, but I mean, it would just seem like meant to be. It loved you. I knew it loved you because it was wanting to play.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't let it out now. It doesn't want to go out. I can't force it out. I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And then I thought, well, maybe I can feed it some of the bugs that the animals eat. And then I was like, but that's not right. It won't be with other bats. I can't do that. So, yeah. And I'm like, what if I cook? I don't want it flying around while I'm cooking. That's dangerous for it. So, that would be horrible. Yeah, I wouldn't want something to happen to it.
I remember
So-
the first time I saw a bunch of bats when I was living in Summerlin, Nevada, and just walking for my nightly walk on the golf course. All these bats were flying around, and I thought they were so beautiful. I thought that was cool because where I'm from, I mean, I didn't really see bats growing up much. So I guess they liked that environment, and it was really, I didn't know they were so little. They're so small.
Yeah. No, the ones that are a little bit scarier are the vampire bats. They're still not that bad, but yeah, I'm not sure about those. But regular ones, you would say. And
Well, we're about out of time.
this was a cool show.
Very cool.
Thank you. I'll see to it that it's uploaded to YouTube as usual. Thank you for calling in. Thank both of you. You really helped out a lot. And thanks Linda for calling in as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to more shows about this subject as well.
Me too.
And more
Me
people
too.
on that know something
Yeah.
about animals. The educated version.
Yeah,
What to do.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Night.
Yeah,
Have a great
thanks
night.
everyone. Yeah, have a good night.